Hey, flat earthers, take my $10,000 and prove the earth is flat. The existence of nonstop southern hemisphere flights destroys flat earth. Absolutely. Flat earthers have tried for years to hand wave away this problem. This is their chance to show they are real truthers and embarrass a glober in the process. First, for some background, we need to look at what flat earth leaders say about southern hemisphere flights, starting with the OG flirt Mark Sargent with his video from way back in 2015.
The first part of the clue is the utter lack of nonstop flights from anywhere in this hemisphere, which is why I gave you multiple cities in each group. And here's the plot hole for you. Flying from international cities like Sydney, Rio, Santiago, or anywhere else close by, you can't get a single nonstop flight, no matter how much money you pay. I tried to do this for an entire night, and it was like playing an online casino game, one that I was losing most of the time. The connections kept coming in like spam windows. Start in Christchurch, go to Auckland. Start in Auckland, go to Sydney. Start in Sydney, go to Dubai or Los Angeles or somewhere else that makes no sense. Some of these connections took the trip over 50 hours to complete. Go ahead, try it yourself.
Well, thanks for the invitation, Mark. You know, you forgot to tick the non-stop checkbox. And when you do, hey, look at that. There's a bunch of flights. Next, we go to Eric Dubé, who released this video just a couple weeks ago.
On a globe, Santiago, Chile, to Johannesburg, South Africa, should be an easy flight, all taking place below the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. Yet every listed flight makes a curious refueling stop in Senegal near the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere.
Now, of course, Eric knows there are non-stop flights.
Some globe debaters will acknowledge this fact, but rebut with the claim that non-stop Sydney to Santiago flights follow a great circle route over the Pacific, remaining in the southern hemisphere the entire time, therefore increasing the necessary flight distance, speed, and duration. With regards to this claim, firstly, it is yet to be proven that these flights even exist, since no unedited video footage exists online, and every time flat earthers have attempted to book the non-stop flight, it fails to go through, gets cancelled and refunded days before departure, or changes to a non-direct flight.
Eric, would you accept unedited video footage from yourself?
Secondly, if they do exist, it is yet to be proven that these flights follow such a path, because again, there is no unedited video footage.
Well, Eric, you will love my challenge. It will give you exactly what you wanted. Next, we go to Dave Weiss, who said this.
But what you can't do on a flat Earth is go from Santiago, Chile, to Antarctica. I mean, to Australia, because that is because they're at the opposite end of the world. But in reality, the planes go all the way up to North America, all the way over to England, over to Dubai, and then all the way back down to Antarctica. When in fact, that's they should just cut across the bottom.
It's a bold claim that these flights don't exist. It's also a completely testable claim. You're going to be so excited, David. Some flat earthers accept that these flights do exist, but that there's something fishy about these flights. Jeranism said this.
There's already been articles that such and such plane has broke the sound barrier, because with the winds aloft, and that's just in the north when the south is many times faster. But in the north, planes will catch that stream and they'll get places a lot faster and they'll break records. And then there ends up that their miles per hour was 950 or 970. But that's because they were going under the Mach and then Mach 1, and then they get the wind with them.
Oh, Jaron, even 970 miles an hour doesn't explain the flight for flat Earth. Sydney to Johannesburg is 14,590 miles straight on flat Earth. The plane must travel over 1,200 miles an hour on flat Earth. And Jaron's buddy Bob Nodell says a similar thing.
If we look at these things out at these outer edges, depending on where you get, if you get into these red zones and these change 31 meters per second or 18 meters per second, and obviously this will then change at different altitudes as well. Let's go to 70 hectopascals. And now let's look at some of these things. 38 meters per second. Let's go up to 250 hectopascals. And again, same thing. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful, the way this all works out? And there are days that these winds literally go over 200 miles per hour.
A 200-mile-an-hour boost doesn't do it for you, Bob. You need at least 600-mile-an-hour boost. Well, Flat Earther escapes from the Southern Hemisphere flights boil down to two main points. Either the flights don't exist or never actually happen, or the flights take a different route, a different elevation, a different speed, or some combination of those. Well, guys, this is your lucky day because I'm going to pay you to prove to the world that you are right. First, I will put $10,000 in escrow, held by an attorney. You get yourself an attorney to confirm this has been done. Our attorneys verify that each other are appropriately licensed attorney in the United States. We don't want somebody's buddy that just read some legal books. Together, we agree on one of the Southern Hemisphere flights that you say don't exist. There's about 5 or 6 routes. I prefer QF63 Sydney to Johannesburg because it flies about 5 days a week and both countries speak English. Then we book a seat on this flight. You and I, we fly together. We don't have to be next to each other. You bring your own video recorder, your own GPS logger, or whatever you need to satisfy your standard of evidence for where this flight is located and how fast it is going. You can even bring your own sextant so you can do flat Earth celestial navigation to get your position fix. Oh, sorry, is that a soft spot? If you require a start to finish unedited video of the flight out the window, you can personally do it. You can make sure that you will be able to answer 100% of the questions all the truth-seeking flat earthers will have for you. And I'll do the same. We schedule a 7-day window in case the flight's delayed or other complications. We don't want to fly all the way to Australia just to miss the opportunity to prove you are right. So, if that flight crosses the equator, or makes a refueling stop anywhere, or flies faster than 850 miles an hour at ground speed, you win. You get my $10,000. The money will already be in the hands of an attorney, so I cannot back out once it starts. Of course, there's reciprocation on your part, but it's heavily in your favor. I'll explain. You will also put $10,000 in escrow with your attorney. If the flight doesn't cross the equator, and if there's no refueling stop, and if the ground speed is never faster than 850 miles an hour, I win and I get your $10,000. Notice that all 3 requirements must be met for me to win. Only one has to fail for you to win. This is in your favor. But there's more. Before the flight, I will give the login credentials for both my channels to the attorneys. The MC Toon Live channel and the Conspiracy Tunes channel. If you win, the attorneys delete both of my channels. You don't need to delete your channel. Only I do this. And there's one more thing. You write a script for me. Before the flight, I'll record the video with my face on camera reading your script. All of it. Anything you want. Anything. This will be sent to my attorney, and your attorney gets to verify it's been received. If I lose, you get the video. You get the publication rights to the video. You do whatever you want with the video. You also don't need to do this. This is heavily one-sided in your favor. So when do we do this? Well, I don't want anyone to refuse this generous offer because of some mask or immunization restrictions. We do this when those are relaxed to a level you're comfortable with. There should be no reason to miss this because of that annoyance. This offer is for Eric Dubay, Mark Sargent, Bob Nodell, Jaron Campanella, or David Weiss. It's because they have a large enough following and they can easily crowdfund the travel, lodging, food, and escrow if necessary. I don't care how you get the money. I don't care what you do with it if you win. And if you want the payment in Bitcoin instead of US dollars, I'm fine with that too. If you're confident that you're correct, this is an easy decision for you. You get to prove yourself right delete my channels, laugh at my video, and walk away with my $10,000. You might be talking amongst yourselves, wondering if I could weasel out of it. Somehow weasel out of my part. Well, I won't. I can't. The attorneys have everything. It's out of my hands. But you would still have the unedited video of the flight. You'd still have the location data you logged during the flight. And you still have the undeniable proof of whatever you think that flight will do. I'll email each of you so that you're aware that this challenge exists. The first one of you to email back accepting my offer gets the first chance. I'll also ask everyone watching along at home to remind these 5 gentlemen of my offer. Maybe post something like, "Take MC Toon's flight challenge" in their comments section. The only reason for you to refuse is if you know this flight is a direct, non-stop flight that doesn't cross the equator and doesn't leverage the jet streams in some crazy way. You will refuse if you know the Earth is a globe. Your actions will tell everyone all they need to know.